Are you ready to buy a 15 to 25 foot sailboat? Great. Hang tight as we delve into what will make or break your sailing experience. I'm here to help you raise the potential for sailboat enjoyment by lowering the potential for sailboat setbacks. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Mitch. If you're interested in buying a sailboat in the 15 to 25 foot range, chances are that a professional surveyor is probably not going to be laying eyes on it. So it's really critical that you conduct your own inspection. This will not only help you make an informed decision, yay or nay, on the boat, but also give you bargaining power, and hopefully you won't have any regrets with your purchase. So let's get started. We're gonna inspect my own boat like it was just a typical boat you might find. The name of this game is to find out everything the seller is not disclosing and find problems with the boat that were previously unknown. This is a 1982 Com-Pac 23 Mark I. This is the first generation of the Com-Pac 23. With the second generation, they added a bowsprit. Third generation switched to larger oval-shaped port lights. You should always be curious why a second generation sailboat was even developed, and if the changes are significant to you. Be wary, some sailboat manufacturers made major structural upgrades in the second generation, making the first generations potentially sailboats to avoid. Here's the sailboats that I see get the most negative reviews in the sailboat owner forums. The biggest and most common problems seem to be rotten wood structure and rotten deck core. Some blistering and delamination. The main dislikes are centered around design and build quality. I want you to choose your sailboat carefully and buy it right, so when it's time to sell it, you get all your money back. Now we're on the search for clues and gathering all the evidence. This is a child of the early 80s, so you know it's gotta have a wild history. This Gulf Coast sailboat has been beaten and battered by storms. As a new build, this sailboat rode out its first major hurricane in 1983. Hurricane Alicia suddenly appeared from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing 115-mile-an-hour winds, catching everyone by surprise. Hurricane Ike was a Cat 4 that made landfall as a Category 2, bringing 22 feet of storm surge. Hurricane Harvey came and stuck around and dropped 64 inches of rain. That's 5 1/3 feet of rain in 3 days, which makes it nice for locating deck leaks. If you're inspecting a sailboat on a trailer, check the hull for warpage caused by improper weight distribution and pressure from the bunks and stands. If the boat's in the water, I'll be taking note of the condition of the bottom paint. And take note of the bottom paint line in relation to the water line. This hull's been painted, so I want to see the before pictures. First, I'll see if there's any damage to the hull caused by collision. Next, I'll check the hull for blisters. This boat was covered in barnacles, but not one blister. Inspect the hull for signs of delamination. That's where the fiberglass layers are separating from each other or the core. This is a solid hull, so not a problem. I bought a boat that's free of any underwater through hulls, but if you have some, here's a good checklist. It'd be real nice to know the age of each through hull and the last time it was serviced. First, check for any signs of marine growth or debris around the opening. Look for signs of any corrosion or deterioration of the through hull. Look for changes in color. Also look for cracks and fractures in the fitting or in the hull, and inspect the area for signs of leaking. Then see if they work and how smoothly they function. Make sure all the fasteners are tight and that all the proper double hose clamps are present and tightly grasping the right hose for the job. And also follow each hose and know exactly where it goes, so you know without a doubt that it's properly attached on both ends. The biggest problems that you're going to have with your 15 to 25 foot sailboat are the complications caused by the movable keel. This is an encapsulated keel, so I'm just going to inspect it for any damage caused by hard groundings. This boat draws 2 1/4 foot. I love the simplicity and it points high enough. I'm in a warm climate, so there's no concern about water intrusion from the top side and freezing, expanding, and damaging the concrete ballast. And there are also no keel bolts that I have to worry about. If this boat had a swing keel, I would definitely inspect every inch of the mechanism. I've owned a couple different sailboats with swing keels, and they each had their special little idiosyncrasies that gave them extra charm. But charm can turn to doom and gloom in the wrong hands. You may never know the final moments of what led up to disasters on small trailerable sailboats that we see in the news, but I always have to question if it was the swing keel forgotten to be locked down, or it was locked down and the lockdown mechanism failed when it was needed most, while the boat was excessively heeled, overpowered. I've had it happen to me, and the dynamics of the boat change instantly, and without cutting loose the sheets, you would definitely be knocked down. I wanted a sailboat with a transom hung rudder, and this is a well-built rudder I'm going to have no problems with, and easily upgradable for improved upwind performance, with absolutely zero maintenance or risk of water intrusion. Since you want a boat that's worry-free, look for all points of possible failure. This cockpit drain is an above waterline through hull, but it's not in a following sea. Running downwind and big waves, you'll get a lot of water pushed back up and flood the cockpit, so it's important to make sure these are watertight. What could be more important than keeping a dry cockpit? And that's exactly why we've decided to buddy up with our newest friend, scuppers. Scuppers have been keeping cockpits dry since 1962. Get the ball, scuppers. I was looking for an old sailboat that was all original, free of modifications from the previous owner, kind of factory fresh. I want a boat maintenance free, darn near unsinkable, bulletproof. A boat that can reliably take me out on the water anytime I want to go. You'll want to closely inspect any boat you're thinking about buying for rotten wood and the internal structure. This boat is built up from the encapsulated keel, so no rotten stringers to worry about. This Com-Pac 23 is 42 years old, all original, and really in great shape. This bow eye will have to be sealed up better next time we haul out. I keep a lot of chain as a part of my ground tackle, and I like to keep that weight a little bit further aft. I find the V-berth too confining to sleep in. I find the main cabin settee rather comfortable, so I use it more as a utility workspace. Alright, now let's dive deep into this boat. The boat's skeletons are often found in the basement. This boat has two bilge pumps, a manual and an automatic. It looks like I'm missing a hose clamp. This particular boat was constructed with a piece of wood dividing the ballast from the bilge, and it's prone to rotting, and I want to know how it's doing on this boat. It looks really good, actually. I wonder if I should douse this plywood with penetrating epoxy. Notice this crack in the companionway step, but the previous owner looked like he beefed it up quite well, so I'm not going to worry about that. It's just cosmetic. Chris, the moderator for the Com-Pac 23 Facebook group, gave me this rudder. I just haven't gotten down in the water to stick it on yet. Between the gars and the alligators in this water, I haven't been too happy about climbing down in it, and I'm kind of waiting to get the boat hauled out to do it. It was only 3 or 4 months ago that the remains of a missing woman was found in the mouth of an alligator in Horse Pen Bayou here in Clear Lake, Houston. The first ever recorded fatal alligator attack in Texas was in a marina. Burkhart's Marina in Orange, Texas. There's a lot to do on this boat. I basically bought it and had it hauled out to do a bottom job and ended up doing the topside paint as well. I got the boat seaworthy enough, and I got it splashed and back out sailing as fast as I could, and I basically haven't stopped long enough to get any projects done, but I think things are about to change. This is a Com-Pac 23 sailboat. It has a synthetic core deck that will never rot. If you're inspecting the deck of a wood cored boat, you may want to roam the deck barefoot, feeling around for soft spots. Or you can tap slightly with a hammer and distinguish changes in pitch, or go over the deck with a moisture meter if you've got one. There are 3 spots that are slightly damaged that I will have to address, and this is one of them. Check all the stanchions and stanchion bases and make sure they're solid. And you might want to step below and take note of which ones are leaking. The stanchions are solid, but the lifelines are way past their lifespan, just waiting to surprise someone. I'd really like to switch this boat to the rope lifelines. The most critical part of this boat is the standing rigging, so you're going to want to look over the boom and the mast, make sure it's straight as an arrow, no damage at all. Run your hand on the cables, maybe with some gloves on, looking for broken cable wires, and then look over every fitting on the boat. Inspect every inch of it for anything broken or missing. Had the rigger give her the once over. New halyards, fresh spreader tips and boots, and we're all set. You should check the VHF radio, make sure the antenna's working on top of the mast, as well as the anchor light, the steaming light, and foredeck light if it has one, before taking any unknown sailboat sailing. And if I just bought it, I'd definitely drop the mast on the deck or send somebody aloft. It's really critical that you go over every inch of it. Here's a nice example of why sometimes simple is best. Chain plates attached to the hull. This 23-footer has 6 external chain plates. Not only does it give you more structural integrity, distributing the load efficiently straight to the hull, external chain plates also give your rig a wider stance. Also, they eliminate a very common source of deck leaks. This boat has a synthetic core, but it does have reinforcement of marine plywood under the mooring cleats and another spot back here under the mast base. And this is a spot that's prone to cracking, like this one right here. So you're going to want to seal that up to prevent rot. These winches are definitely ready to be taken apart, cleaned, and lubricated. Check all your hatches and check your lazarettes. See how they seal up and see how the hinges are. They usually get a little wobbly. You're definitely going to want to check those cockpit drains. That's a through hull. And check the backing plate for the outboard motor bracket. I had to beef mine up. Here's a shot of the transom. The big hose is the manual bilge pump. The top black hose is the automatic bilge pump, and the other pipe is a pass for the outboard fuel line. It looks like I might be missing a hose clamp or 2. Here's a shot of the encapsulated marine plywood reinforcement under the aft cleat. There's some slight damage to this gas tank cover here. Something for you to look for. The other side is fine. All the exterior teak on this boat is in dire need to be replaced. Fortunately, every part of this sailboat can be purchased straight from the manufacturer. Whatever sailboat you choose, make sure it has a strong community with parts and support. Find your boat's Facebook community group and stay in touch with folks like you that have the same concerns, 'cause you're in the same boat. I love all the teak and mahogany and the teak and holly sole in this boat, but it's also a lot of potential spots for water damage. This 42-year-old boat has seen 3 hurricanes and multiple tropical storms. It's got a little wear and tear and a little bit of water damage underneath the port lights from leaking seals, but to me it just adds character. It's nothing I can't handle, and I'm gonna sail on. Some sailboats were made better than others, but the truth is, they all sail good. Every production sailboat was probably designed by a very good yacht designer. In my opinion, the right sailboat for you is the sailboat that you can hop on right now and go. For me, it's all about days aboard the boat, days out on the water as opposed to at work or working on the boat. I sincerely hope you liked the video and that it was helpful. And if it was, hit the like button. and subscribe. Stick around and see where this goes.